Welcome back to the next video. In today's video I will show you how to create an Android plugin for language identification as well as translation using MLkit for Godot game engine. So firstly I will show you the output. Now there I have two buttons, identify and translate. Now for the identify button I am sending some French text from Godot side, and if I click on identify, here you can see inside the label it prints FR. So FR stands for French. Unfortunately, the MLkit library does not give you the full name of the language, it just gives you the language code, but from that language code you can determine which language it is, so that's up to you. Next there is this translate button as well. So I am sending some English text and I am translating it to Hindi. So if I click on translate, so after some time, this is all on device translation and identification. So here you can see it is displaying some text in Hindi. So there is no call to any API servers or cloud. There is no such thing. But one thing which I want to tell you is that suppose I want to translate it from English to Hindi, and if you are doing it for the very first time, it will download an MLkit model for the user. So for the very first time it does take a little time, but subsequent translations are very easy, like they occur pretty fast. Suppose later on you decide to translate it for English to French, then again for that it will try to download it an MLkit model for the very first time, but later on it will be pretty fast. Okay, so let's get started. So what I have done is I have created an Android project using Android Studio. It can be an empty views project or a Jetpack Compose project, doesn't really matter. Once you do that, you have to right click, new module, select Android library, give it some name, I guess my library is fine, and give some package name as well. Click finish. I have already created it, so won't create it again. Next you will have to go to gradle.scripts. You will have to select the build.gradle of your my library, and here I have added our Godot dependency. I am using Godot 4.2.1, that's why I'm using this version, but if you are using some higher version, do check Maven Central for what stable version is present. And here I have added this MLkit language identification. So this is for language identification and this is for MLkit language translation. So these two dependency as well. Next you will have to go to your library, go to Kotlin plus Java, and here I have created a file called Godot Android plugin. So firstly I have created a plugin. So this is my plugin name. This can be anything, but do remember your plugin name, as that will be referenced many a times in our code. Next this is for language identification. So I have created a language identifier. These all things are for language translation. So I have created an option. Here I have kept it as English and here I have kept it as Hindi, but you can change whatever you feel like. So there are tons of language options available, so choose. If you want, you can send this from the Godot side as well, but just for simplicity I have directly hard coded this English to Hindi. And here we have to create this translation, and here I have defined these conditions as well. Next I have defined this mutable overridden this get plugin signals as well. So I have registered two signals. One is identify signal, second one is translate signal. So identify signal for once a language is identified, and translate for translating. If you want, you can just use one signal as well, again depends on you. So I have defined this one method called identify, and here in the identify method you can see that I have created this language identifier. So here I am just calling language identifier dot identify language, and I have called this add success listener, and if the language is undefined, then I am just sending fail signal. If the language is proper, then I am actually sending the language code back to the Godot side. If there is any failure, then I am just displaying a message as well, like the error message back to the Godot side. And for translation, again the same thing. I am downloading the model if needed. So this is only for first time download, first time if you are trying to do translation. And if there is any success listener, I am trying to translate data, and here if the translated text is proper, then I am sending it back to the Godot side. If not, then I'm just sending back the exception back to the user. Once that is done, you will have to go to your Android manifest, go to over here, and you will have to add this internet permission as well, because we need the internet permission to download the model if necessary. For identification, I think that's not necessary. And here I have just copy pasted this from the Godot docs. So this should be your plugin name, and this should be your package name for your so if you don't know what your package name is, so this is your package name and this is your plugin name. So just add it over here. Next, what you will have to do is you will have to go to the folder where your Android project is. So let me check. So this is just a cheat sheet which I have created. Okay, no, wait, there is one more step. So you will have to go to the project drop down. Here inside my library you will have to create a folder called export scripts template. Inside that, create a file called the export plugin.jd, and I have literally copy pasted this from the Godot docs. Only thing which you have to change is this plugin name over here, and you also need to add this extra bit of method called get android dependency. So I have added this to our extra dependency, right, the MLkit language identification as well as translation. So I have added both of them. Then I have added plugin.cfg as well. Again, I have copy pasted this from docs. So this should be your plugin name. You can change the description and author to whatever you feel like. Next, okay, so I think I'll see the docs. Okay, so next what you will have to do, open your terminal. You will cd to your Android project. So this is my Android project, and you will have to run this command. Once you run this command, you can go to your Android project, go to your library, build, outputs, AAR, and here you should see two AAR files. I have already copied those files to my Godot project, that's why you are not seeing it over here. Then I have created my Godot project, and inside that you will have to create a folder called add-ons. Next, create a folder with your plugin name. Next, create bin folder, and inside bin create two folders, debug and release. Now you will have to copy the debug file to the debug folder and release file to the release folder. So I will show you that as well. And also you will have to change their name a little depending on your plugin name. So here you can see inside debug folder I have copied the debug AR file, but the name should be your plugin name dash debug.ar. Similarly for release, your plugin name dash release.ar. Also you need to copy these two files which we have created on the Android side, on the Android plugin side. Copy these two files inside your plugin folder as well. Next, you will have to go to project, install Android build template. I have already done that. Then click on export, click add Android. Here you will have to check use Gradle build. Make sure you check these options as well. If you don't know what architecture your Android device is running on, you can select all four of this. Also at the bottom you might be seeing a fix import button. Just click on that as well. And next you will have to go to project settings, go to plugins and check this plugin as well. Make sure you check this checkbox. Next, inside my Godot project, I have just taken a VBox with two buttons and one label, and if you see the code for it, this again should be your plugin name. Okay, and inside already I am initializing our plugin as well as setting up our signals. And on first button press, here you can see I am calling the identify method. I know this is not French text, like this is still English, but if you have a French keyboard or if you get some French text, you can copy it over here, and I'm pretty sure that would work as well. And inside translate, I'm just sending some English text and it is getting translated to Hindi language. And here you can see that I have registered our two signals and I'm just updating our label. So yeah, that's it. Thank you for watching. Bye.